Scott Gavorski with Gavorski Consulting here in Elko. And I'm working with the First Five Nevada, a new project that just launched in April to try to solve some of the problems here with fragmentation. Parents and others getting access to the early childhood system and provide some resources here for the community. How do you want to introduce yourself? And then we'll.
My name is Patty West. I'm from the Children's Cabinet. I am the Northern Coordinator and I do business supports.
Yeah. So what we want to go ahead and do today is we're going to do this sort of in two parts. And if you have questions, just let us know. Talk a little bit about what First Five Nevada is. Children's Cabinet's one of the partners, as well as DWSS, the Division of Welfare and Supportive Services. 5 reasons the first 5 years of childhood development matters, not just for the child and the parents, of course, but also for the community. And that's one of the key parts we're out here talking about. Sort of 5 impacts of the early childhood program. Give you a little brief overview of the First Five Nevada website, which is really the central point here of the project, and talk about the eligibility portal, which is probably the most important part for parents and for your employees. And then I'm going to turn it over to Patty. He's going to talk a little bit more about some of the business programs, how you can become a family-friendly business, right, to work with this. And then we'll sort of wrap up with the customary ask on what you can do to really help the development of early childhood education here in development for that critical 0 to 5 group in Nevada. Now, why First Five? That's the basic thing. Well, research is becoming more and more certain on this. Healthy development in the early years, and that is years up to 5 years old, provides a building block of educational achievement, economic productivity, responsible citizenship, lifelong health, strong communities, and successful parenting for the next generation. One of the things I want to emphasize, we could talk a lot about here, is both the economic productivity. Of course, this is the chamber, so we're talking about that a good bit, but also responsible citizenship and strong communities. One of the things to bear in mind is that development in this period, that is 0 to 5 years old, actually has some lifelong consequences and also has some consequences far beyond just the family unit itself. Now, as we go through this, we're going to throw out a lot of numbers, right? Like I said, there's a lot of good research that backs this up. Don't get too caught up in the numbers, although I'd like to start with one key one that everybody should remember. This is the most recent census data we have from the American Community Survey. Looking at the population percentage, that is the population in each county that's under 5 years old. Anybody notice anything interesting about good old Elko? We actually have the highest percentage in the state, about 7% of our population's under 5, right? That's actually higher than what we see in Clark and Washoe. So Las Vegas and Reno are actually a little bit older. They have less children as a percentage of the population. Now, of course, Vegas is about 133,000, which is a lot of kids. Don't get me wrong, right? And this sort of actually magnifies up as well. So on this sheet, we have the population under 18. Again, Elko is actually tied in this case with Humboldt County, 26.4%, right? And notice here, the darker colors, higher percentage. This northern tier of counties here, we're the youngest part of the state, right? In terms of population under 18, Elko actually has one of the youngest median age, or the youngest median age in the state, just under 35 as well. What that tells us is it's a lot of young families, and that's the market we're trying to reach here with these programs. You can see here at the bottom, Nevada's average is about 5.7, 22.2% for population under 18. Those actually are really close here to national averages, right? Nevada is actually statistically very similar in this demographic thing to the country as a whole. So one of the things this tells us is we have a lot of kids, right? You're out there seeing all those kids at places like the Lamoille Country Fair. They're not figments of your imagination. They really are here, right? And this requires sort of rethinking the policies a bit about what we're doing. Now, oops, sorry. Maybe this is going to go. Oops. There we go. So 5 reasons, 5 key things about first 5 matters, right? First, 90% of brain development occurs before the age of 5, right? So that brain physically, those connections, neuron synapses and whatnot, most of that occurs before the age of 5. We've got to get them early to be able to allow the proper development. Early experiences affect brain development, setting the foundation for learning, health, and behavior, right? Instilling good habits early on pay dividends. Exposure to stress and trauma can have long-term negative consequences on brain development, right? Positive personal interactions, parental support, social interactions, what have you, proper nutrition, something we've known about for years, and safe environments all support that brain growth that's so important here during this period. Reducing stress on parents, right? And that's one thing. You can't just concentrate on the kids. You've got to concentrate on the world in which they live in. That financial and social or emotional development can also have a direct positive impact on young children's brain development. The parent's stressed, the child senses that impacts their development. If the mother's hassled because she can't find quality childcare, for instance, that's a problem. Babies and toddlers particularly need a variety of supports to thrive. Yet families experiencing poverty and inequities often have limited access to the services they need when they need them. Let me stop here real quick, talk a little bit about inequities, right? That's part of the reason that statistics I showed you early on are so important, right? We're used to talking about this in terms of issues. Parents that aren't bringing in sufficient income or have other stressors. But remember, inequalities or inequities might actually be other things. In our area, lack of infrastructure, whether that be lack of adequate child care services, lack of health care, specialists for children with developmental needs that are commonly available in some place like Vegas and Reno, might not be here. It doesn't matter how much you're bringing in them off if you don't have access to that type of infrastructure resources. So in thinking about this, particularly from a business perspective, right, this is one of the big things that's much larger than any particular program to bear in mind. So it's not just about helping people who don't have the funds, don't have the resources, right? It's communities coming together to make sure that infrastructure exists. So now that we've talked about some of the reasons why this is important, what are some of the impacts that we can see from focusing on this 0 to 5 age group here? Well, educational achievement. This is one of the big ones, right? Children who participate in high quality early childhood, more likely to succeed academically, right? Again, teaching them these so-called executive skills, patience, curiosity, working, focus, can help them as they're being educated. Children who attend high quality preschool programs, more likely to graduate from high school and more likely to pursue higher education. Again, this is something that research has shown continuously over the years. There's also the economic benefits, right? So the academic benefits might incur here largely to the child. Of course, businesses such as yourself benefit by having a better trained workforce. But there's also substantial economic benefits that come from this concentration. According to James Heckman, the Nobel laureate economist, about every dollar invested in high quality early childhood programs yields a return of about $7 to $10 in savings related to increased school success, higher productivity, and reduced social costs associated with crime and health care, right? Again, those same sets of skills that, for instance, some of the people in the mining industry might be looking for in their workforce, patience, focus, and whatnot, are exactly the same types of skills that are often lacking among people who have run-ins with the law, right? Hitting both of those sides of the equation not only benefits the economy economically, but also has the benefit of reducing cost of future problems. And that's where we see in the second stat, which Patty's going to talk a little bit more here. The annual economic impact, combination loss of earned wages, lost productivity and tax revenue because of loss to child care or insufficient child care is about $1 billion. That's billion with a B, right? The old joke, we're talking real money now, right? Nationally, that's even much higher, right? Over about 122 billion, right? And just locally, if you're looking at your own businesses, so-called direct-to-business benefits, proper child care and proper development can lead up to a 30% reduction in absenteeism. Companies that become these family-friendly businesses, right, where they're supporting families and working around, often have less problem with parents calling out because their child's sick, because they missed a flu vaccination, or a behavioral issue. There's also a decrease in turnover, right? Turnover is a hugely expensive proposition. People outside the business community often don't realize how important and how expensive it is, right? By keeping an employee, right, you're saving yourself, right? Some of the best estimates we have out of economists now is about 6 to 9 months of the employee's salary might be spent in a replacement process by the time you advertise, do the interviews, onboarding, all that stuff, right? Having a family-friendly business and devoting some effort here to these economic benefits can have some key direct, real benefits here to your bottom line. We also have the social and emotional development, right? We know that quality early childhood programs support social and emotional development. These lead to better health, mental health incomes. We're in the process of this children's mental health crisis now, stemming from the pandemic a few years back, right? This is a type of stuff, even in the absence of that pandemic, would have had real benefits. We also know that children who participate in early childhood education programs exhibit fewer behavioral problems, and they're better equipped to manage their emotions and relationships later in life. Again, that's part of that executive skills we sometimes talk about that's key to reducing crime and other social problems, which become a benefit here to the community. Health outcomes, obvious, but it never hurts to explain, right? Medicaid, Nevada Checkup, Nevada Health Link, all which help ensure children have access to preventative care. Those who participate in early childhood interventions tend to have better adult health care options, right? Their health is better overall. They don't have the mental problems from poor nutrition, stressors in early childhood, so on and so forth. And children with health insurance are up to 6 times more likely, without health insurance, are 6 times more likely not to have that medical care, which becomes a greater cost here in the future as well. Whoops. As usual, we have the technical issues. Finally, we have future financial success, right? Now, this is probably a bit more on where our side is on helping families get access to resources, but even relatively small amounts of income can drastically improve child's academic, health, and economic outcomes, right? It doesn't take a lot, right? When families with incomes below about $25,000 a year received about $3,000 annual supplement somehow, their children earned about 17% more as adults and worked about 135 more hours per year after age 25 than otherwise. Again, part of what you're investing in here is not the here and now, it's in the future, right? And some of the mining industries that are looking at 20, 30-year timetables on these mines, right? This is a key reason to pay attention to this type of stuff, right? The benefits are going to pay dividends down the road. Now, I don't want to spend too much time directly on the website. Again, this is largely for the parents. But one of the things First Five Nevada does, we have tons of programs. But as you've heard me say in other things, they're fragmented. They're all over the place. They're hard for parents to find. They have to spend hours looking for this and this and this and this program. And if you don't put in the right keyword, you might miss something that could actually help. What First Five Nevada seeks to do is bring this together with 5 little bits of information. If anybody's wondering why we have the Gimme 5 campaign, this is it. Right? You can go in there about 5 minutes with 5 bits of information, and a parent can see what type of programs they're eligible for. Right? Could be something as easy as applying for SNAP, right? The EBT program. It could be child care subsidies. It could be if they have special needs, they might be eligible for some programs, right? Very quickly and easily find this. But the other thing this website offers is advice and information that's open to everybody regardless of income, right? This gets back to some of those inequities I was talking about earlier. For instance, milestones. One of the things you can come to this website and do is put in your child's age, 4 months, 18 months, 3 years, and see what the CDC and other doctors think they should be developing as. If they're not doing something, waving goodbye, for instance, right? As we see our little kids here. And I forgot to mention, all the kids you're seeing this are actually Nevadan kids that we brought in as part of as we were developing this project, right? It might have activities you can do to work with your kids. It also has a situation, advice columns. If you're worried that your kid isn't, say, listening, or you think there's something weird about how the kid is hearing you, there's advice columns, how to talk to your doctor. Here's how to approach your doctor and raise this issue, right? This stuff is vitally, vitally important because part of the problem is not just having the parents' resources. It's also giving the parents the knowledge where they can advocate here for their child, right? And access those resources they already have, right? Now, for many of you, even if you're in a situation where you might not have parents that would find this particularly useful, remember that this is a community project. And one of the things this website also does is talks about the development of Nevada's early childhood system. This is the entire branch of programs that help the community, right? We tend to think of these individually, but you're listening to a lot of the news, right? The political conventions talking now about child care subsidy, tax credits. We've got the legislative session coming up next year. So in 2025, the legislative session, you're going to hear a lot more about the early childhood system. This allows you a portal to understand what that might mean for your business and your community and how to help, right? So with that, I think we'll probably just take questions afterwards. I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Patty.
Perfect.
Do you want me just to sit here and flip for you? Would that
Sure.
be easier?
Yeah, I can do it too.
Okay.
All right, so like I said before, I'm Patty, and my program with the Children's Cabinet is the Nevada Employer Child Care Development Program, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about that and give you some information.
Okay.
All right, so the first thing that we will be discussing is the current affairs of Nevada. So in Nevada, what does the child care landscape look like, and how does it impact our businesses here?
Oops, sorry. There we go.
So the first thing that I wanted to let you know is that 72% of Nevadans live in a child care desert. And what that means is that the capacity is low. There is a need for child care. Right now, there is room for 1 out of 3 children. And the wait list is also about 1 to 3 years. So if you find out an employee is pregnant and if they haven't already called the child care center, they're going to be on a maybe 1-year wait list. So that's what it looks like right now, which is hard for your employees to find childcare. And also in the state of Nevada, most children live in a household where both parent works. And currently in Elko, about 52% of children live in a household where both parents work. At the tables and also in the childrenscabinet.org, we have the early education and care fact sheet, and there you'll find Elko. So that's half of the children live in a household where both parents work, like I said, but that means that they have to find a means of childcare. And for ages 6 to 17, it's 65.9% of children that live in a household where both parents work. And so, what do parents do and employees do if they cannot find childcare? So, first of all, they have the stress of having to talk to the supervisor. That is super stressful. First, you have to talk to your partner or decide for yourself, what am I going to do? That's very stressful, and I have to go talk to my boss about this. So, 44% of employees have to change their schedule. So, they have to figure out some kind of schedule change. 21% of them look for a different job that fits more with their childcare needs. And 15% of employees have to leave the workforce altogether. And also, childcare is expensive in Nevada. Currently in Elko, the cost for infant care is $7,821 per year. And for 4-year-olds, it's the same, $7,821. And that, believe it or not, is almost the cost of sending your child to UNR, to college. So childcare is expensive. And also, if you look at the graph here, if you are a single female head of household, that's 40% of your income. And if you have 2 children, that's about 73% of your income. And so, like I said, why even work? And so next slide. So why should your business invest? So like I said before, your employees are going to be stressed. They're going to figure out what they're going to do. What does that happen to your business? Well, you have reduced productivity because their mind is, what am I doing with my child? Have to figure out. They're going to be absent because if their regular childcare provider is not, maybe they're not feeling well, they're closed down or something happens, then they don't go to work. Also, 83% of millennials will leave their job for a position that offers family-friendly benefits. And that's whether they have children or not. The millennials are looking for a family-friendly job that has flexibility, some PTO, health benefits. It's all important to everyone. And plus, they think of their future children. And also, like Scott said before, there's an economic impact of that. When there is no childcare, Nevada loses $1 billion per year currently. And how does that look? That's 170 million in lower tax revenue. For businesses, it's 190 million that could be going to the businesses in lost productivity. And that's, parent has to leave early, has to come in late and all of that, figuring out who's going to do that job. Maybe they don't find anybody, so something gets missed. And then for parents, that's $640 million in foregone earnings and job search expenses, because sometimes if you don't go to work, you do not get paid. And so that's 1 billion. And like Scott said, for the nationwide, it's $122 billion lost in childcare expenses. And so what is the return on investment? So businesses are like, okay, you want me to be more family friendly. What's my return on investment? Like Scott says, for employers, it strengthens your recruitment and improves your staff retention. But for parents, it improves their work-life integration. It supports their parenting and mental and physical well-being. For children, it enhances their social, mental, physical, and emotional development. And for society, it builds that human capital, because those children that you are investing in are your future workforce. And so at the table, and I'll also leave some at the chamber and then our childrenscabinet.org website, we have some investments that have some family-friendly benefits that you can offer. This slide shows all the way from working parent support, which is less costly and less complex, all the way to on-site childcare, which is more costly, more complex. However, it's childcare exactly where parents would need it, at their job. How amazing would that be? However, we know that different businesses have different resources. It depends on the size of the business, their industry, if they can have an on-site childcare. But there are different investments that you can also do, including flexible scheduling, childcare partnerships, and a few more. Next slide. There is also a tax credit. So if your business is interested in investing, there is a tax credit called 45F. The limit is 150,000 per year. But if you provide a child care center at your job site, you can qualify if you contract with the child care facility. Say there's a facility that you would like to have some spots for your employees, that counts. And also if you contract with child care services and referral services. Of course, I'm not a tax expert, so you can talk to your tax expert about the 45F. And then for businesses that would like to become more family friendly, I have a strategy and process that I can work with your business. So what we provide, like I said, I'm the northern coordinator. We have a southern coordinator. And what we do to become more integrated in a childcare strategy with businesses and your employees is we look at your employee demands. What types of childcare problems are your employees having? What are their issues? Is it availability? Is it accessibility? Is it quality? And what are your employer goals and resources? So what are your desired outcomes? Is it more productivity? Is it I would like some less absenteeism? And what is your company issues? Like I said, is it the performance? Is it retention? Is it the quality of work from your employees? So when we look at that, we explore some benefit options that benefit the employee and benefit the business. Like I said, partnerships, flexible work schedules. And when we do this all together with the employee demand issues, employer goals and resources, the company issues, exploring the benefits, we have an integrated childcare strategy. And now I'm going to discuss the 5 steps of how we can provide the free business consultation. So if a business is interested, there is a QR code there. You could also go into childrenscabinet.org/businesses. What I can provide and my Southern partner can provide is these 5 steps. So first, if you would like or interested, we meet with you and we understand your business. What are your employer goals? What's your mission? What's your vision? How would you like to support your employees a little bit more? Do you have an idea already? Then we analyze your current benefit package and we benchmark it with the same size and same industry of your business. And then we have a unique employee needs assessment. And what that means is that we have an assessment that has so many questions on childcare issues that your employees may have. We look at it together. You can take some questions out, change some questions. We send it out through SurveyMonkey, and then we get the results. And what I do with all of the data that I have received from meeting with you, looking at the benefits and the employee needs assessment, I provide a recommendation report with quite a few solutions, from no-cost solutions all the way to maybe some costly solutions. And then I support you through the implementations of the solutions that you may have chosen. Like I said, we do have a few ideas of some family-friendly benefits on our website and here at the Elko Chamber if you're interested in some support to implement those family-friendly solutions. And there's also a QR code there that takes you straight to the link to sign up to get some support. And the support is at no cost. If I didn't say that already, no cost consultation to provide family-friendly benefits to your employees. We also have the best places for working parents designation. And what this is amazing. This is a quick 3-minute assessment. It does a analysis of your family-friendly benefits that you already have, and then it benchmarks it with nationwide, same size, same industry, and it gives you a report. And then it will tell you that, yes, you qualify to be a best place for working parents. I would come to the job site and we would do a big congratulations. The senator has a certificate for businesses that become family friendly, best place for working parents. And then I can review the report. And if, say, your business takes this report and you do not qualify, we have the free business consultation so that I can support you to be more family friendly. And then we are also offering our summer webinar series. Our next one is August 28th, where we will be doing a deep dive on those workforce solutions. So if you're interested, there is a QR code there, also on childrenscabinet.org/businesses. And then if you missed any of our other webinars, they are on our website. So if you're interested in watching those. And that is my presentation. Thank you. Scott.
So here's what we're ultimately asking for today. Of course, we want to help your business or your organization the best we can going forward. But there are some simple stuff you can do to address this sort of broad range of issues. First and most importantly, share this information with your business or with your employees for First 5 Nevada. Again, it's free for them, it's free for you. Hang the poster up in your break room, what have you. Of course, you can request a meeting here with Patty or somebody at Children's Cabinet to get that sort of consultation on how to become a more family-friendly business. Again, the benefits, particularly in employee retention, getting people back into the workforce, right? All that can help your business directly. If you want to get one of these presentations, let us know, either myself or Patty. But most importantly, what we would ask you to do is become an advocate and a champion here for children. Again, increased investments pay off over time. And businesses and organizations can't do it themselves any more than parents can. It's going to take the community working together. And like I said, we're coming up on the 2025 legislative session. There's going to be a lot of talk about childcare issues because it's one of the major factors that's impacting Nevada's business climate right now, as it is nationally. So think about how your firm, your organization, your institution can help support this 0 to 5 childhood development process, right? For instance, if I mentioned at a previous meeting we had here, if you're doing financial advising, right? Write an article on what type of expenses new parents should be exposed to. Our website's evergreen. We can bring these articles in and share them out with parents. If you're a company, consider becoming a family-friendly business, right? If you're lucky enough to be in a position here where you can help encourage local politicians, city councils, county commissions, even state government to support First 5 development, please do so, right? It's going to take everybody working together to really start to have a significant impact on these issues. So, just want to thank our partners here on the First 5 Nevada, of course, Department of Education, Department of Health and Human Services, the Child Care and Development Program, of course, Children's Cabinet, and the various other partners that have helped us here over the years. And with that, we'll go ahead and put our contact information up. And if anybody's got any questions or whatnot, we can have a chat about that. So thank you very much for attending, and please take some of the food and all the stuff.
Patty, did you say that local businesses could partner with childcare centers that are already open to
Yes.
provide this?
Yes, they can. And if they do, they qualify for the 45F as well. And if they need support in doing that, I can give them support in writing. I have a whole how to write a partnership, kind of like an MOU with that child care center. So that if they need guidance, I can support with that as well.
Now, did you guys get all the materials for First 5 that were shipped out? Oh, really? Okay, I'll leave some with you.